Remember the financial crisis we went through back in 2008? It was all about mortgages. I mean, it was a tough time. I mean, we went through a genuine economic recession. And of course, if you listen to the press, listen to the politicians, there's no question who the evil perpetrators of this mess was. That was the big banks. The big banks. That's all we heard about. And then they passed the legislation called Dodd-Frank, which was such a joke. Okay, it really was. And the result of it were that the banks became even bigger. But here's my problem. As we discussed the big banks too big to fail back then, no one ever brought up the biggest bank in America, that being the federal government. But that's always the case. The government never faces scrutiny and crises, and I've never understood that. And so as long as I have a voice, I'm going to call them out. I called them out then, and I will continue to call them out. But you know what? The federal government is not just the biggest bank. It's also the biggest mortgage broker in the country. Number one, our politicians right now, as we run up to the 2020 election, they're talking about health care, especially insurance. Bernie Sanders wants to do away with private insurance, all these evil CEOs and their bonuses, how much money they make and waste and what have you. What he never talks about, though, is that the largest health insurance company in America is the federal government. You know about the student loan mess. Guess who the largest student loan provider is in America? Yep, the federal government. And then as we go on and on about all the labor stuff, minimum wage, income inequality, gender stuff, and it just goes on and on. But no one ever goes back to the federal government to say, you know what, you are the biggest employer in America, so maybe we should start there with some of these issues. The federal government is the largest property owner in America by far, which makes it the largest landowner. And think about all the landowner issues that we have. I could go on, but let me give you just one more example. The largest gun and ammo purchaser in the country is the federal government. And I know you're saying, yeah, but Bill, you've got the military. I left the military out. Listen, 58 non-military agencies have guns and ammo bought for them by the federal government, including the IRS. And not just any guns. The IRS is given AR-15s to some of their agents. So I say to Beto, as long as they've got them, I'm keeping mine. Even the Small Business Administration was given Glocks, which is a cool kind of a pistol. Bottom line, whenever there's a problem in our world, to me, much of that can be placed at the feet of the federal government. It's not just too big to fail. It's just too big.